Last month I did a collecting and watched recap type video, and I said I was going to make it every month. I'm back for month 2, which is a big surprise because I'm quite absent-minded at times, but I remembered to come back and do this video just to talk about how my movie watching month and collecting went. And it was a big month again. I watched 106 movies. 56 of those were discs, 31 were rewatches, and 75 movies were first time watches for me. Great. And I watched a lot of movies from different services this month, and I kind of had ups and downs this month. There's certain moments where I just go into old familiar movies that I know inside out, that I watched when I was a kid, to kind of de-stress and just, tune out for a bit. And within a 24-hour period in February, I watched all 7 Police Academy movies. There were some ups, there was a lot of downs, but I sat and watched them all and just tuned out, forgot about editing for YouTube or anything else, and just enjoyed the heck out of those kind of movies. And I did that quite a few times. At the end of the month, I really went into Eddie Murphy movies, all the 80s ones, just because I needed to just de-stress and tune out, and I kind of just threw myself into those movies. But again, I've got my top 5 movies that I rewatched, and I've got my top 5 movies that I watched for the first time in February. So we'll start with the rewatches. Number 5 for me, Office Space. I hadn't seen this in a number of years. I threw it on because I was going to do some things, and I ended up just tuning into the movie and loving it. I love the idea of this one because it speaks a hell of a lot to me. Someone that's just treading water in their work, who doesn't really get any real enjoyment out of it, but needs it to facilitate general life. But I find the characters so endearing. I find the situations so relatable and obnoxious at the same time that it just kind of speaks to me. And it's just one of those cultish movies that I really enjoy going back to. I do think kind of loses it near the end, but up until then it's just a complete joy to watch this thing, and it was great going back to it again. Number 4 on my list is Police Story. Hadn't seen this in a number of years either, and man, this was just a tremendous action movie to just delve into and enjoy the heck out of it. I loved watching the sheer destruction of that shanty town at the start, and then getting to that ridiculous mall action set piece later on. Brilliant stuff, really energetic, really tight in its storytelling, brisk 90 minutes, pure fun. Number 3 for me was Kind Hearts and Coronettes. I love this movie. I love the tale of the Daston family as they're slowly picked off one by one. Watching Alec Guinness just chameleonic change from all these different characters within the one family is brilliant, and it's just one of those tales that's just so great that you can sit down and watch it and it feels fresh every time, and you notice more about the movie every single time. Number 2, Demons on 4K. Another one I hadn't seen in ages, and man, I just forgot how frenetic this thing was, how well constructed and created it is, and how just utterly bonkers, and how it really goes for that horrible imagery that it has. Utterly fun, utterly chaotic, and just terrifically great entertainment. Number 1, and I'm cheating a lot here, and that is the Cornetto Trilogy. I got this in 4K. To be honest, I didn't really notice much of a 4K bump, but just going back and watching these movies one after another, just tremendous. They're all very different, but they all have similar kind of ideas behind them. The creative team just work wonders, and it's an amazing trio of movies that, for me, each one has its own plus points, and there's very little detractable points in any of the 3 movies. First time watches for me, number 5 was Arrow's Joint Security Area. Now, I thought I'd seen this before. I'm pretty sure I have, but I couldn't really remember anything about it when I sat down to watch it. And to be honest, it's a movie I'm going to remember. Following the lives of these people as we unravel the tale of what happened to them was really deeply affecting, surprisingly so for the tale that we were being told. Really emotional, really exciting, really very different, and highly recommended if you haven't seen it. Number 4 was Green for Danger. I loved this movie. Late war, an inspector played by Alistair Sim is trying to deduce a killer in amongst a hospital, and he's not even in it for the first third of the movie, but we get his voiceover alluding to the fact that he's going to be there, just creating a wonderful build-up until he finally arrives. And he's not the expert inspector you would expect. He's a little bit flawed. He makes mistakes on his investigation, and that just endeared him more and more to me. Wonderful performance, really great movie. Number 3 was Mad Detective, Johnny Toe's Mad Detective, which was utterly chaotic, bonkers, unique, different than anything I'd seen before, about a detective who, yes, is mad, who sees people's inner selves. And that's projected on screen in a wonderful fashion. And it's just a terrific tale, which I won't talk too much about. Number 2 for me was Shane. First time watch again, but I'd seen lots of parts of it. I just never sat and watched the full thing. And this just grabs hold of you and refuses to let go, giving you the idea of this character through small glimpses of the way he handles himself, as he's ingrained within this family, as he could easily take all the bad guys out, but tries to restrain himself for the sake of the family, ultimately having to do what he does best in the final third of the movie. It's restrained in parts, it's really visceral in other parts, it's exciting, anxiety inducing, so much going on in this movie, just stunning visually as well to top it all off. Number 1, my favourite first time watch of this month is an absolute cracker, which unfortunately is now out of print if you're trying to get a hold of it, and that is The Murderer Lives at number 21. A terrific movie. Now, I really like procedurals. In fact, 4 out of my 5 here are procedural kind of movies, and this is all about a detective trying to find a killer when he knows the person stays at a boarding house, and he goes undercover to try and figure it out. All the fun comes from his wife, who kind of follows him there and gets involved with it. The characters are wonderful, the situations are great. Every time I thought it was going to take a right turn, it took a left and surprised me, and was a movie. It's just utter joy, and I really wish other people would check this one out. It was probably my one review that was the lowest watched video in the month of February, and that stung. That really stung, because I think that movie was wonderful and it needed to be checked out, and I was hoping my review was going to inspire some people to go and check it out. Unfortunately, not very many people checked out the review, but I'm hoping that will kind of get picked up throughout the years. Hopefully people will discover this movie, and maybe I can point them in that direction if I am lucky. Now, this month I bought 3 4Ks. I bought the Cornetto Trilogy, I bought Demons, and I bought Halloween. Great purchases. I like the look of the Demons box. It's really starting to annoy me already, the design of it. I hope they don't do any more like this. The fact that it's just nothing to tie it together, really annoying. Other Blu-rays I picked up, and I'm not going to go through them all. I picked up the 3 Van Dammes that came out, the Columbia Noir 2 box set, which was amazing, the Young Master, which was great. 88 Films have a last chance segment on their website. I picked up 6 titles from that I really needed as well. And then the MOC sale that came, where I picked up 5 titles to add to my Masters of Cinema collection. I'm now just 10 away from completing that collection. March, we've got some maybe titles, quite a few maybe titles, and some definite titles that I have pre-ordered that I am really looking forward to picking up. First up, my most excitable release for March is V, the Russian horror movie being released as part of the Masters of Cinema collection. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. It's been a long while in coming, and I'm really excited to check it out. Next from Eureka, we've got the Lucky Stars Trilogy. I'm enjoying these movies. I don't know a thing about them. I know I've pre-ordered it, and I can't wait to check these out either. I'm really enjoying all these Jackie Chan flicks that are coming out, and I'm entering into a lot of them blind, but wow, they're all so much fun. And I've got some indicator titles that I've already bought and paid for. 20th Century, Criminal Code, Crime Wave, and Things Change. The last two I've seen, the first two I haven't. I'm just curious to get my hands on this. I've already bought and paid for them, so really I've not got much outlay this month. I was going to get Urban Legends Trilogy, but that's moved to April now, so there we go. As for maybes, I maybe pick up the Sergio Martino Silent Action. I want to see some reviews on this one because it's a new company, Fractured Visions, and I'm curious to see how they're going to treat their movies and ultimately release them. From 88 Films, we've got a Charles Bronson, Murphy's Law. I don't know anything about this one, haven't seen it. I'm excited to get my hands on it, so it could be a possible purchase. Humanoids from the Deep. I don't know. Can you enlighten me in this one? Is it worth picking up or just wait for the sale later on? Nightwing and Shadow of the Hawk from Eureka. Again, I'm in two minds. Can you guys help me out? Is it worth picking up or is it worth just leaving for a sale price? Network are releasing 10 Little Indians. I've never seen that, but I do love Agatha Christie and I do love procedurals, so I'm excited about that one. I may get it. Short Circuit 2, I would get, but it's a limited set and it's £25, and that seems expensive for what it is. If it was the two movies, I could maybe go for it, but just Short Circuit 2, I love the movie. I want to get the disc. That seems expensive for me. And last is BFI's release of Targets. I love Targets. It's an amazing movie and one that I would love to have in my collection. So there we have it. What did you watch this month? What did you buy? What are you going to get in March? Let me know in the comment box. I'll see you next time on Man v Film.